ABC's Ian Panel. A multi-state manhunt ended with the capture of a suspect who's accused of faking his own death.
43-year-old Nicholas Hamlet was wanted for the murder of Stephen Lloyd, 34, whose body was discovered last month along a scenic byway in eastern Tennessee. In a bizarre 911 call, Hamlet claimed he had fallen off a cliff while running from a bear. But when authorities arrived, they found a different man's body, later identified as Lloyd. Authorities say Hamlet, who was using the alias Brandon Andrade, killed Lloyd to steal his identity. After weeks on the run, Hamlet captured in Columbia, South Carolina, after a hospital employee recognized him. Dave Packer, ABC News.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is looking into claims that the engines in as many as 1.4 million Honda and Acura vehicles are at risk of failures. NHTSA is probing the 2016 through 20 Honda Pilot and Acura MDX, the 2018 through 20 Honda Odyssey and Acura TLX. Honda recalled about 250,000 vehicles last November to fix this problem. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
South Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, November 11th. Businesses in Port Angeles will have to get a city license starting next year. The Port Angeles City Council last week voting to require the licenses starting in late spring or early summer next year. Nonprofits and businesses making under $25,000 a year will get licenses for free, while others will have to pay $190 every year. Short-term rentals and bed and breakfasts are exempt since they already have their own licensing rules. Before the vote last week, Port Angeles business leaders, including the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Mark Abshire, urged the council, though, to take on a flat rate, not in one that would have been a proposal for based on a business's gross revenue.
First of all, we understand the need for business licenses in the city, so that's not really an issue. Also appreciate the lowest level possible as the target, especially because there's a lot of businesses we want to help get started here. So, and we don't want barriers to businesses starting, right? So, but tying the license to a variable factor like gross revenue is inherently inequitable. And we think long term, it's probably not the right way to go. And so that's one of the reasons why we're recommending the flat rate.
Mayor Kate Dexter expressed some concerns about how the fee would be calculated as well.
I can look at this and think, well, if I'm a business, is $280 a lot? It doesn't seem like it, but I'm also not a business, and I don't know what my margins are and what my bottom line is. And I think where it gets tricky is gross revenue is not net profit. I don't think profit margin is an easy way to do it, which is why we're doing gross revenue. And I suspect because of the way that this was all prepared, that's exactly what the state does as well. The other thing that is important to me is that we're doing this process in part so that we can fiddle with things as we go. So we could try implementation, see how it works. Oh, we need to change it a little bit. That's the whole goal of this, is that it's easier to do that.
The council voted 5-1 to pass the new rule with the flat fee. It should be noted that it is almost twice as much as the nearest city that has a license as far as cost goes. The city estimates the fee will bring in about $200,000 a year. They plan to put it toward local business support like a full-time downtown resource officer and a homelessness navigator. Assistant City Manager Calvin Going says the goal is not just to raise revenue, but to also adequately collect data on the makeup of the city's businesses. Now, that licensed data will be managed by Washington's Department of Revenue, with privacy safeguards in place to protect business information, according to city staff. Now, with a look at some things that happened over the past few days, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
Area weekend highway traffic seemed a little bit less heavy than usual. Still, officers saw enough moving violations to make 10 traffic stops Friday and 12 Saturday. Plus, they investigated 9 vehicle accidents Friday and 8 on Saturday, none early yesterday morning. Port Angeles saw 9 of those accidents, Squim 5, 1 in Beaver, no injuries mentioned. Oddly, there were no theft complaints during the full 24 hours of Friday, and none Saturday until 9:30 that morning on North Liberty. We also noted a weekend with no known threats of or attempted suicide. There were 2 routine death investigations completed in Port Angeles along West 1st and West Lordson Boulevard, and 1 in Squim early yesterday morning at Bell Street. A DUI arrest was made at 1:49 Saturday morning in the 200 block of West 1st Port Angeles. Citizens filed only 3 complaints of threats, those originating from West 14th, East 1st, and South Valley between 1 and 4 Friday afternoon. And there were only 3 citizen complaints of harassments, those at West Boathaven Drive at noon Friday, East 2nd 2 hours later, and in Squim 6 hours after that at East Cedar. We had a variety of disturbances that had to be dealt with. Most were mostly benign, with 9 in Greater Port Angeles, 3 in Squim, 1 in La Push, 1 in Forks. Now, they'll have to put more enthusiasm into it if they expect to ever catch up with us. Police did 13 building checks, mostly late night and early morning, and 12 welfare checks. The number of requests for citizen assists remained normal, with 13, the last such request received at 8:16 Saturday night. I hope the requests get better results than when I called in a couple of years ago and was told that, no, they do not do windows. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
November is the month in which we celebrate our veterans. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and I think they should change it to Veterans Month. If you serve this great country, then the Wilder family and employees would love to say a huge thank you. And we appreciate you and your family's sacrifice and commitment. There is no greater act in humankind and for the good old USA than putting yourself in harm's way for us. So thank you, and thank you, and enjoy Veterans Month.
At the Big Swain's pre-winter sale, you'll see savings on all name brands that are designed to warm you up as the weather cools down. Patagonia men's and women's apparel is all 20% off. Cool and Outdoor Research men's and women's apparel is 20% off too. You'll really feel the heat in Smartwool men's, women's, and kids gear with 20% off. And Pendleton even has a wide selection of men's shirts, hats, and t-shirts for 20% off. So many great deals going on now at the Swain's pre-winter sale.
In other news, residents in Tacoma raising concerns about the city's new gunshot detection technology pilot program, ShotSpotter. It'll be introduced in a high-crime area of the Hosmer neighborhood of Tacoma. At a public forum last night, community members and advocates, including the Black Panther Party's Bunchy Carter, criticized the program as harmful and as an example of over-policing. Latasha Palmer, an organizer of the forum, argued that deploying ShotSpotter automatically labels communities as places of danger. ShotSpotter, used in about 150 locations across the U.S., aims to help Tacoma police improve response times and gather evidence for gun-related crimes. However, critics at the forum question the accuracy of the technology and argue that it would not address the root causes of gun violence. The city funded the program with an $800,000 federal grant with plans to run it through 2027. One man is dead, another in custody following an investigation in Thurston County near Yelm. Deputies responded to a home there just before 8 a.m. yesterday after getting reports of suspicious circumstances. Inside, officers discovered a man's body on the floor of a house there. Detectives determined the man had been killed. Investigators say the homeowner is believed to be responsible and was arrested on suspicion of second-degree murder. The deceased is thought to have been a guest in that home. A driver, passenger, and dog died Saturday night in a crash in Kitsap County. About 9:30 p.m., the driver reportedly failed to navigate a turn on southeast Burley-Olalla Road near Shady Glen and Ferga Road, which caused the car to veer off the road and hit some nearby trees. The vehicle then caught fire, according to the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office. The cause of that crash is actually still under investigation. This is Newsradio KONP.
Tri-State Roofing is celebrating the grand pre-opening in Squim. Tri-State specializes in more than just roofs, siding, gutters, patio covers, and doors. And the best part is, we got you covered with incredible financing. Project now and pay later, much later. Zero down payment, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 18 months on approved credit. Experience the Tri-State way. We've got you covered 24/7. Call 253-ROOFING.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
At At Jim's Pharmacy, in addition to your pharmaceutical needs, you'll also find diabetes self-management education. This education and support is recognized by the American Diabetes Association. Sandy Sinnis, a diabetes educator, and Jan Rystrom, a dietitian and medical nutritional therapist, will guide you through 10 hours of professional, private, and personalized hands-on training in a 4-part series. Find out more information about diabetes self-management education. Only at Jim's Pharmacy, 360-504-3961.
Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. Come out to Olympic Game Farm for some tender love and care. Now it's not impolite to stick out your tongue, considering the critters you'll be among. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. The llama and the yak know you want to come back, and the tiger always gets a few stares. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Isolated rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast skies. High temperatures reach up to 54, winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Isolated rain showers likely, lows dip down to about 43. Isolated rain showers likely tomorrow, 52. Cloudy skies expected. Isolated rain showers likely Wednesday and Thursday, 52. Wednesday, 50. Thursday. Take a look at the extended forecast, 47 Friday, 46 Saturday, and 47 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 56 degrees.
Don't just assume. It's why you play it out. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Broncos were a 35-yard field goal away from handing the Chiefs their first loss of the season yesterday.
Lutz waiting for the snap. Placement is down. Lutz's kick is blocked! It's blocked! It's blocked! The Chiefs blocked the kick! They're going to stay undefeated!
96-5 the Fan in Kansas City. Chiefs hang on for a 16-14 win. They're 9-0. 4 of those wins on the final play of the game. It's the first field goal they've blocked since last October, which was also Will Lutz. Lions rally to beat Houston in the Sunday night matchup, 26-23 on a Jake Bates field goal at the end. Detroit moves to 8-1. They haven't done that since the Eisenhower administration. Bills are 8-2 after their win over Indy, their best start since 1993. Jake Moody misses 3 but does hit a game-winning field goal for the Niners. They beat Tampa Bay. Steelers get a 4th straight win. They beat Washington 28-27. Eagles rout the Cowboys in Dallas. Jets are blown out by the Cardinals. Bears and Giants admitting they'll be evaluating things after their losses yesterday. Bears fall to the Patriots, who had 9 sacks. Chicago hasn't scored a touchdown in 2 games. Giants lose to the Panthers in overtime in Germany. Giants fumbled the ball away on the first play of overtime, and they lose 4 plays later. College football, Mike Norvell firing both of Florida State's coordinators. Seminoles are 1-9. Utah's athletic director is fined $40,000 for ripping the Big 12 officiating crew Saturday. Unbeaten Indiana moves to number 5 in the latest AP poll. Georgia and Miami dropping out of the top 10. NBA Warriors with an 11-point win over the Thunder. OKC losing Chet Holmgren, though, to a pelvic fracture. He's out at least a couple of months. Lakers beat Toronto. Anthony Davis takes a shot to the eye while trying to block a dunk in the third quarter. He left. It's swollen. Doctors will look at it later today.
In some local sports, the Port Angeles Rough Riders swim team finished 3rd at the district tournament in Auburn. The 400 freestyle relay team of Lindsay Reed, Amaya Nelson, Brooke St. Louis, and Danica Osgerson took 2nd place. Amaya Nelson also placed 2nd in the 500 freestyle. The 100 medley relay team featuring Lizzie Shaw, Amaya Nelson, Brooke St. Louis, and Danica Osgerson finished 3rd. Nelson also earned 3rd in the 200 freestyle. Lindsay Reed finished 3rd in diving, while the 200 freestyle relay team of Danica Osgerson, Brooke St. Louis, Lizzie Shaw, and Lindsay Reed took 4th place. St. Louis finished 5th in the 100 backstroke. Osgerson placed 7th in the same event. Lizzie Shaw took 8th in the 50 free and 9th in the 100 breaststroke. And Chloe K. Sanders placed 10th in the 100 butterfly. In district football playoffs, the Squim Wolves lost to WF West 56-3, concluding their season with a 5-5 record. Among other Olympic teams, East Valley Yakima defeated North Kitsap in Poulsbo 30-13. Archbishop Murphy topped Bremerton 59-7. Bainbridge beat Clarkston 38-26, and Olympic defeated Washougal 46-6. In the state playoffs first round, Bainbridge will play Anacortes, and Olympic will face WF West. In NWAC soccer, both Peninsula Pirates teams advanced to the Final Four after defeating Tacoma over the weekend. The Pirate women winning 1-0 on a goal by Elise Maffeo, and the men won 3-0 with 2 goals from Austin Collins and 1 from Ezra Ochoa. The Pirate women will play Spokane on Friday, 1:30 p.m. in Tukwila, while the men will take on Walla Walla at 6:30 p.m. Port Angeles junior Piper Alton won big at the Wenatchee Super Oval Awards Banquet, placing 5th in a year-long Legends Car Points race among 45 competitors. Alton was named Rookie of the Year and awarded the Sportsman of the Year trophy. Former Port Angeles multi-sport athlete Lily Hallberg is playing volleyball for Lower Columbia College. The Red Devils, ranked 3rd in the Western Conference, will face Bellevue on Saturday at 10 a.m. in Pasco in the first round of the NWAC tournament. And in cross-country, former Port Angeles record holder Jack Gladfelter, now at Corbin College, placed 4th in the Cascade Collegiate Conference Championships, running a time of 24:36.5 and qualifying for the NAIA Championships November 22nd at Gans Creek in Columbia, Missouri. Former Port Angeles athlete Max Bader, running for Evergreen State College, placed 28th.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Gravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Noyson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-base shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater needs some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care, and we look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Good news if you're in the market for a car. The CEO of Carvana predicts vehicles will become more affordable. Ernie Garcia told the Associated Press used car prices have declined and he expects interest rates to fall further. Carvana reconditions used vehicles at 17 centers around the country and delivers them directly to buyers' homes. A 2-day plunge in Nissan shares has wiped about $1 billion of the automaker's market value. Last week, the company said it plans to dismiss 9,000 workers, cut 20% of its manufacturing capacity, and sell part of its stake in Mitsubishi. And Apple is unveiling a new tool called Share Item Location that helps iPhone users track down lost items. Apple says users can securely share the location of an Apple AirTag or Find My network accessory with third parties like airlines. Over 15 airlines, including United, will begin accepting Find My item locations as part of the process of tracking down delayed or missing bags. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
We got a couple of missing pooches we want to get back home. Missing from 443 Walkabout Road. That's across from Dry Creek School, just west of Port Angeles. First, a female yellow lab is chipped and has had recent pups. And a black and white female basset hound, about 2 years old, also chipped. If you've seen either of those dogs in that vicinity in West Port Angeles, Walkabout Road near Dry Creek School, please call 360-461-8768. That's 461-8768.
At the Best of Fall sale at Angelus Furniture, you'll see incredible sale pricing on several different Lazy Boy recliner styles. The Vail Rocker Recliner is only $549, or take a step up to the Pinnacle Rocker Recliner for $799. Maybe you just need some cushy luxury in the Redwood Rocker Recliner at just $1149. You'll also see Stanton sofa sleepers on sale as low as $14.99 for a twin. You'll fall into these savings right now during the Best of Fall sale at Angelus Furniture.
Shop the Blind Store by McCrory in downtown Sequim and fall in love with the new window coverings for your home and office. Be there to catch the falling prices in your loving arms and live happily ever after with blinds, shades, and other window coverings that will make you fall in love. And right now, you can fall in love at 25% off at the Blind Store by McCrory in Sequim. The trusted name in blinds, shades, and shutters since 1958.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
As a dad of not one, not two,
but 3 teenage girls. I'll tell you that it can be a challenging time of life, not just for the kids, but for their parents as well. And as we work through it together, I want to make you aware of a recent finding that should get your attention. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, only about a quarter of teens say they always get the social and emotional support they need. At the same time, however, parents were 3 times more likely to think that they did. There's a real disconnect. So we talked to psychologist and CNN contributor Lisa D'Amour about this. She said, quote, "A parent's first instinct is to provide advice or guidance, while teens often want empathy and reassurance. You also need to make intentional time to connect with your teens," Lisa said. "Just being in the same room as them doesn't necessarily count." I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Shop early, save big, all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, get select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at just $59.98. Don't wait to save. Shop these deals today, in-store or online, because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, "How do you sleep at night?" Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. It's Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, get a $300 instant gift. Take 120 nights to love it or your money back. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. We've all seen the pictures and cartoons of Uncle Sam, but did you know that Uncle Sam was a real person? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
Hello, Jerry Stewart here. Recently, as I spoke to a group of 6th graders about our America and the stories of we the people, to my surprise, one young boy did not understand just who we the people are. For a moment, I was puzzled. He does not know who we the people are? Then it hit me. Why would he know? We hardly even talk these days about our great America and the great part played by we the people and God to give us our greatness. Do your children know the stories of America, our real greatness as a nation, as a people? Go to my website now at jerrystewartusa.com or call 817-995-6965 and look at real, true story lessons written by me to teach our children about the virtues we must teach them now. 10 lessons for just $35 delivered right to your computer. Let's save America. Call now.
What most people don't know today is that the idea of Uncle Sam is actually based on a real person named Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson was a meat packer in the early 1800s who supplied our American troops during the War of 1812. The meat was shipped to the troops in large barrels stamped U.S. When someone asked what those initials stood for, somebody said Uncle Sam, and the name just stuck. They began to refer to the meat as Uncle Sam's meat. They referred to themselves as Uncle Sam's Army and that they were fighting for Uncle Sam. Very interesting. Want to know more interesting stories about America? Go to OneMomentInAmerica.com. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. Opponents of a voter-passed initiative to protect access to natural gas in Washington State are preparing to file a legal challenge in Superior Court after the election is certified. Initiative 2066 passed with 51.4% of the vote. It was the only one of the 4 initiatives on the ballot to do so. Opponents claim the measure is unconstitutional because of its broad scope and that proponents lied to the public about what the measure would do. They also claim it would raise energy bills and impact the state's transition to clean energy. Hundreds of people gathered at the Space Needle Saturday to protest last week's election of Donald Trump as president. Hundreds were believed to have rallied under several different issues, including opposition to Israel, immigration, and abortion, as well as voicing displeasure of the dominance of 2 parties in our electoral system. And the Washington State Supreme Court has permanently barred former Tri-Cities area judge Sam Swanberg from holding any judicial position. Swanberg resigned in May following a disciplinary hearing. In September, the Judicial Conduct Commission found he had violated judicial conduct codes and recommended his disqualification. For more on these stories and a number of others, you can download the WSNN's free mobile app through the Google Play and the Apple stores. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager fell victim to fake pills. Smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Where are these pills coming from, and how are kids getting them? Right from under our noses, crooks are targeting kids on social media and selling them counterfeit pills that could seal their fate with a click of a button. It may seem harmless, maybe it doesn't even seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. So before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Think these pills are tested and safe? Think they're the same ones you get from a doctor? You know they're not. Did you know that many fake pills contain fentanyl? And an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. Listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Republican congressional leaders are ready to help Donald Trump get his agenda started on his first day in office.
Donald Trump and legislative leaders are getting ready for his first day in office.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
On the campaign trail, Donald Trump suggested using executive orders to remove migrants in the country without authorization. Republican Senator John Barrasso on NBC's Meet the Press says that's among the top priorities.
The high costs and the open border. And those are the things we're going to start working on immediately.
I'm Jackie Quinn.
A Manhattan judge will decide whether to uphold Donald Trump's hush money verdict or dismiss it on presidential immunity grounds. Judge Juan Merchan will rule Tuesday on the president-elect's request to toss his conviction because of a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that gave presidents broad protection from prosecution. Also at townhall.com on this Veterans Day, military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis tells the Salem Radio Network veterans comprise a significant portion of the U.S. population.
We have about 18 million veterans in the United States today. Most are male, and of course, more than half of them are over age 65 because of the past wars that we've been engaged in.
President Biden earlier spoke at Arlington National Cemetery, saying this is a day of coming together to honor those who served in the armed forces. A shooting at Tuskegee University in Alabama. One man is dead and injured, and 16 injured. An arrest has been made. On Wall Street, the Dow had 329 points, the Nasdaq losing 18. More at townhall.com.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
Spain's prime minister announcing another $4 billion worth of aid after deadly floods.
These measures include temporary mortgage relief for homeowners affected by the floods. They will also not have to pay water and electricity bills in the coming months. The Prime Minister said the measures are part of a strategy to tackle the immediate needs of people before beginning the rebuilding of areas affected And finally, responding to what he called the climate emergency affecting eastern Spain. At the weekend, tens of thousands of people in Valencia protested at the authorities' response to the tragedy.
BBC correspondent Guy Hedgecoe. Boko Haram terrorists killing 18 Chadian soldiers in a weekend attack on a military post that left 96 of the assailants dead. The Lake Chad region has been plagued this year by frequent attacks from Boko Haram and the Islamic State in West Africa. Breaking news at townhall.com. Julie Walker reporting Rockefeller Center in New York is gearing up for Christmas.
It's beginning to look a bit like Christmas over at Rockefeller Center in New York City with the arrival over the weekend of the giant Christmas tree. Head gardener Eric Bozet says when he first saw the 74-foot Norway spruce in someone's West Stockbridge, Massachusetts yard, he knew it was the one.
I found this tree back in July of 2020. I went to look at another tree, stayed overnight. The next day I saw this tree right in front of me coming down the road, and I knew I had to knock on the door.
It's going to take 5 miles of light strands with more than 50,000 multicolored LED bulbs to wrap the tree. And on top, a star sparkling with 3 million crystals, all to be lit at a December 4th ceremony. Julie Walker, New York.
More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, November 11th. Businesses in Port Angeles will have to get a city license starting next year. The Port Angeles City Council last week voting to require the licenses starting in late spring or early summer next year. Nonprofits and businesses making under $25,000 a year will get licenses for free, while others will have to pay $190 every year. Short-term rentals and bed and breakfasts are exempt since they already have their own licensing rules. Before the vote last week, Port Angeles business leaders, including the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Mark Abshire, urged the council, though, to take on a flat rate, not one that would have been a proposal for based on a business's gross revenue.
First of all, we understand the need for business licenses in the city, so that's not really an issue. Also appreciate the lowest level possible as the target, especially because there's a lot of businesses we want to help get started here, and we don't want barriers to businesses starting, right? So, but tying the license to a variable factor like gross revenue is inherently inequitable, and we think long term it's probably not the right way to go. And so that's one of the reasons why we're recommending the flat rate.
Mayor Kate Dexter expressed some concerns about how the fee would be calculated as well.
I can look at this and think, well, if I'm a business, is $280 a lot? It doesn't seem like it, but I'm also not a business, and I don't know what my margins are and what my bottom line is. And I think where it gets tricky is gross revenue is not net profit. I don't think profit margin is an easy way to do it, which is why we're doing gross revenue. And I suspect because of the way that this was all prepared, that's exactly what the state does as well. The other thing that is important to me is that we're doing this process in part so that we can fiddle with things as we go. So we could try implementation, see how it works. Oh, we need to change it a little bit. That's the whole goal of this, is that it's easier to do that.
The council voted 5-1 to pass the new rule with the flat fee. It should be noted that it is almost twice as much as the nearest city that has a license as far as cost goes. The city estimates the fee will bring in about $200,000 a year. They plan to put it toward local business support like a full-time downtown resource officer and a homelessness navigator. Assistant City Manager Calvin Going says the goal is not just to raise revenue, but to also adequately collect data on the makeup of the city's businesses. Now, that licensed data will be managed by Washington's Department of Revenue, with privacy safeguards in place to protect business information, according to city staff. Now, with a look at some things that happened over the past few days, here's Sandy Keys with his weekend wrap-up.
Area weekend highway traffic seemed a little bit less heavy than usual. Still, officers saw enough moving violations to make 10 traffic stops Friday and 12 Saturday. Plus, they investigated 9 vehicle accidents Friday and 8 on Saturday, none early yesterday morning. Port Angeles saw 9 of those accidents, Squim 5, 1 in Beaver, no injuries mentioned. Oddly, there were no theft complaints during the full 24 hours of Friday, and none Saturday until 9:30 that morning on North Liberty. We also noted a weekend with no known threats of or attempted suicide. There were 2 routine death investigations completed in Port Angeles along West 1st and West Lordson Boulevard, and one in Sequim early yesterday morning at Bell Street. A DUI arrest was made at 1:49 Saturday morning in the 200 block of West 1st Port Angeles. Citizens filed only 3 complaints of threats, those originating from West 14th, East 1st, and South Valley between 1 and 4 Friday afternoon. And there were only 3 citizen complaints of harassments, those at West Boathaven Drive at noon Friday, East 2nd 2 hours later, and in Sequim 6 hours after that at East Cedar. We had a variety of disturbances that had to be dealt with. Most were mostly benign, with 9 in Greater Port Angeles, 3 in Sequim, 1 in La Push, 1 in Forks. Now, they'll have to put more enthusiasm into it if they expect to ever catch up with us. Police did 13 building checks, mostly late night and early morning, and 12 welfare checks. The number of requests for citizen assists remained normal, with 13, the last such request received at 8:16 Saturday night. I hope the requests get better results than when I called in a couple of years ago and was told that, no, they do not do windows. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
In other news, residents in Tacoma raising concerns about the city's new gunshot detection technology pilot program, ShotSpotter. It'll be introduced in a high-crime area of the Hosmer neighborhood of Tacoma. At a public forum last night, community members and advocates, including the Black Panther Party's Bunchy Carter, criticized the program as harmful and as an example of over-policing. Latasha Palmer, an organizer of the forum, argued that deploying ShotSpotter automatically labels communities as places of danger. ShotSpotter, used in about 150 locations across the U.S., aims to help Tacoma police improve response times and gather evidence for gun-related crimes. However, critics at the forum question the accuracy of the technology and argue that it would not address the root causes of gun violence. The city funded the program with an $800,000 federal grant with plans to run it through 2027. One man is dead, another in custody following an investigation in Thurston County near Yelm. Deputies responded to a home there just before 8 a.m. yesterday after getting reports of suspicious circumstances. Inside, officers discovered a man's body on the floor of a house there. Detectives determined the man had been killed. Investigators say the homeowner is believed to be responsible and was arrested on suspicion of second-degree murder. The deceased is thought to have been a guest in that home. A driver, passenger, and dog died Saturday night in a crash in Kitsap County. About 9:30 p.m., the driver reportedly failed to navigate a turn on southeast Burley-Olalla Road near Shady Glen and Ferga Road, which caused the car to veer off the road and hit some nearby trees. The vehicle then caught fire, according to the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office. The cause of that crash is actually still under investigation. This is News Radio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Hi, everyone. It's Leslie Robertson from the Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to remind you that it's that time of year again. That's right. Preparations are underway for the Port Angeles Winter Ice Village. The rink will be open from November 22nd until January 5th every day. As you probably know, the rink runs on volunteer power, and we need volunteers. If you've done it before, welcome back. And if not, don't worry. We'll teach you everything you need to know. The shifts are short, you'll have a great time, and you'll get a free skate ticket for every shift worked. If you're interested, please visit the website wintericevillage.com and click on the link to volunteer. Another great way to support the rink is with a takeover, where your business, organization, or service club staffs the rink in all positions. We promise you'll have a great time. We'll promote your participation online, and it's a great way to support this wonderful community event. If you're interested in a takeover or becoming a rink sponsor, please email events@portangeles.org or use the contact link on the website, wintericevillage.com. You can find all the info you need on wintericevillage.com.
This is a true, sad story for ADT, the leader in home security systems. My favorite dog, Oliver, was stolen from our garage recently. If I had a camera system installed in my home from ADT, I would have known exactly what car possibly pulled up in my driveway and stole my little friend. If I had a security system from ADT, my dog would still be here. I called ADT this weekend, and they're coming out in a few days to install a camera and a new security system. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me. Listen, protect everyone you love in your family. Call ADT now. Have them come out and give you a quote to install a full security system in your home. Don't let it be too late for you. Call right now.
Paid for by the Home Security Hotline. 800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. That's 800-561-6198.
This is Stephen Gasquet, host of Real Estate Today, your instant connection to the American dream of home ownership. Each week, we'll open doors for buyers and sellers with critical and credible information on the real estate market. It's fast-paced and fact-packed with experts, interviews, call-ins, field reports, and timely market conditions. If you're not currently in the real estate market, I'm sure you know someone who needs some good advice. Catch us Sunday mornings, 7 to 9 on Newsradio KONP.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Isolated rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast skies. High temperatures reach up to 54, winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Isolated rain showers likely, lows dip down to about 43. Isolated rain showers likely tomorrow, 52, cloudy skies expected. Isolated rain showers likely Wednesday and Thursday, 52, Wednesday, 50, Thursday. Take a look at the extended forecast, 47 Friday, 46 Saturday, and 47 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 56 degrees.
At 12:45, let's get Robert Workman's take on sports next.
NFL Week 10 on Sunday, the Chiefs stay unbeaten, now 9-0 after a 16-14 win over the Broncos. Leo Chenal blocked a potential game-winning field goal on the game's last play.
Good push by everybody, and, I got through. We've been talking about it for a while, won one of those, and, we did it in a big moment.
Sunday night, the Lions beat the Texans 26-23 on a last-second 52-yard field goal by Jake Bates. Detroit 8-1. Jake Moody booted a 44-yarder at the gun to lift the 49ers over the Buccaneers. Another game-ending field goal in Munich as the Panthers tripped the Giants in overtime. Elsewhere, the Steelers clipped the Commanders in a battle of division leaders. Bills bumped the Colts. Buffalo has won 5 in a row, and so have the Eagles after routing the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts threw for 2 TDs and ran for 2 more. Saints stopped the 7-game skid with a win over the Falcons in Darren Rizzi's coaching debut. Victories for the Vikings, Chargers, Cardinals, and Patriots. Monday night, it's the Dolphins and the Rams in L.A. NBA, the Celtics got by the Bucks 113-107 despite 43 from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nuggets nicked the Mavericks 122-120 despite 43 from Kyrie Irving. Nikola Jokic scored 37 and notched his 4th straight triple-double for Denver. Pacers outpaced the Knicks, a career-high 38 for Benedict Mathurin. Overtime success for the Kings and Sixers. Rockets, Magic, Heat, Warriors, Grizzlies, and Lakers win. NHL, the Sharks shut out the Devils 1-0. Nico Sturm had the only goal. Mackenzie Blackwood, 44 saves.
It's the way they're shooting and hope it hits you. Sometimes that happens, and then the other times you pick up a sight line and just get a little piece on it.
Blackhawks and Ducks were winners, and Joey Logano took the NASCAR final in Phoenix, winning his 3rd career championship. That's Monday Sports.
Hello, this is Port Commissioner Colleen McAleer. The Port of Port Angeles is proud to recognize the North Olympic Peninsula's accomplishment in being named one of 6 finalists for the nationwide Recompete Grant Program. Our region has secured $35 million to bring new jobs and training opportunities to citizens of Clallam and Jefferson counties, including in the marine trades, natural resources, construction, and more. Recompete's goal is to create new paths to high-quality jobs, helping areas like ours that have lost major industries make a comeback. The region-wide Recompete Coalition is working hard to create a more prosperous future where anyone can succeed and provide for their families. We're moving forward with the 21st century innovations that first made our region strong, from jobs on the water to jobs in the woods. Stay tuned for more updates from the port and our recompete partners on how to get involved.
With fall upon us, let's talk power outages. Hi, this is Clallam PUD, and we have a few tips to help you as we enter storm season. Get prepared now by checking your flashlights and purchasing extra batteries. Stock up on non-perishable food and water. Have a plan for any medical devices that require power or medications that need refrigeration. If your power does go out, first check your breakers. If they're okay, then report the outage to us by phone or by using our Smart Hub app on your mobile device. Visit clallampud.net for updates, to view our current outage map, and for tips and resources on outage preparation and safety.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What comes to mind when you hear the word gratitude? Maybe it's a daily practice, or maybe it feels hard to be grateful right now. Don't forget to give yourself some thanks by investing in your well-being. BetterHelp is the largest online therapy provider in the world, connecting you to qualified professionals via phone, video, or message chat. Let the gratitude flow. Visit BetterHelp.com/healthieryou today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/healthieryou.
Oh, you got punched. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
How badly were you injured, Tim?
I have a detached retina.
You have a detached retina because of you getting punched? Hold on. Stop.
Yeah.
You have a detached retina. Were there witnesses that saw you getting hit?
Yes, sir.
You got a case. Oh, yeah. No, there's a case there. There's a case, if anybody believes you. There's a case.
Catch Handle on the Law Saturday afternoons at 4 on News Radio KONP.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A major setback for the push to better treat schizophrenia, and the company hoping to bring it. Shares of AbbVie are tumbling 12%, the most in 3 years, after 2 mid-stage trials of its drug to treat schizophrenia failed to meet their primary goal. The medicine didn't show a statistically significant improvement on a scale used for measuring the severity of symptoms. Hopes were strong for the drug when AbbVie acquired its early developer for $8.7 billion earlier this year. Cigna Group is doing an about-face. The company now says it will not pursue a combination with rival insurer Humana after reports the two companies had renewed discussions of a deal. And Amazon delivery drivers could soon be wearing glasses, but not for their eyesight. Reuters reports Amazon is developing smart eyeglasses that would guide delivery workers around and even inside buildings. A small embedded screen would direct them as they move along routes at each stop. All this is the latest attempt to speed up delivery times. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Dr. Sam Skovgard here, General Surgeon at Olympic Medical Center. If you've noticed a bulge beneath your skin, on your abdomen or groin, it could be a hernia. And if it's causing you pain, it's time to talk to your doctor. If your hernia requires surgery, your general surgery team at OMC is here to help. Talk to your primary care provider if you think you may need treatment for a hernia. Let's keep you healthy and hernia-free together. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/hernia.
It's the time of year to get your equipment serviced for the winter, and Leeds Farm Supply can get you taken care of. We service everything from mowers to tractors to handheld chainsaws and weed eaters. We have trained techs to take care of any machine from handhelds to large tractors. We have competitive pricing and a quick turnaround. Call us at 452-1400 and talk to Jeremiah to get your service taken care of. Leeds Farm Supply, your local farm and equipment dealer, and so much more. Located at 259-110 Highway 101 in Sequim.
Well, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, which would it be? Well, a survey posed that question. In an increasingly polarized country where ideological differences result in shouting matches and pointed fingers, it's heartening to know that Americans can agree on what really matters: burgers. Yep, here are the top 5 of the foods you could live without. At number 1, hamburgers. Number 2, French fries. Number 3 is grilled cheese sandwiches. Number 4, pizza. And number 5, chicken tenders. All right. Well, this year's Thanksgiving, the latest it can be. The date of Thanksgiving is determined by federal law, which mandates that it be celebrated on the 4th Thursday of November each year. It was established in 1941 to ensure a consistent holiday date and to avoid conflicts with the end of the month, which could shorten the holiday shopping season. Thanksgiving can fall as early as November 22nd and as late as November 28th. By the way, November 22nd happens again when the November starts on a Thursday, and the last time that happened was 2018, and it happened again in 2029.
ABC Entertainment News.
Venom: The Last Dance holds the top spot for the weekend at North American movie theaters, pulling in $16.2 million in its third week. An unexpectedly strong premiere at number 2 for the family film The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, just over $11 million. Another debut, the horror thriller Heretic, third. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo premiered their movie Wicked in Los Angeles Saturday. Grande:
It's such a beautiful thing that pop music, pop culture, these films, and art that we create can create a safe space for people who feel like they don't belong.
Wicked comes out in U.S. theaters November 22nd.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
Marvel Studios debuted a brand new trailer and poster for Captain America: Brave New World at the first ever Brazil D23 fan event, opening in theaters in February. Disney, the parent company of Marvel and ABC News.
Number one reason America rejected electric vehicles comes down to batteries, limited range, hard to find recharging stations, and long recharging times. But Toyota claims it has the answer. I'm Kim Commando for Simply Safe. Visit simplysafekim.com to save 60% on a new system. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Lithium-ion batteries have all but killed EVs in America. The batteries are unstable. When they catch fire, they're impossible to put out. So here comes Toyota and its new solid-state battery that's less dense and more stable than lithium-ion batteries. They're far less prone to catch fire, they're lighter, they take only about half the time to charge. But the real breakthrough is that with a full charge, a solid-state battery can get almost 800 miles on a single charge. But talk is cheap. We won't know until the first solid-state battery car appears, maybe sometime next year. Now, in the meantime, let's extend a big thank you to all of our American vets. Get tech ahead with my free newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. If you're ever worried about the safety of your home and family, there's no better time to act. Right now, you can get 60% off a new Simply Safe security system, their best deal of the year. Simply Safe is the home security I trust. I love the peace of mind it brings my loyal listeners. Get 60% off today just by visiting simplysafekim.com. Old school alarm systems only kick in once somebody's already inside your home. Simply Safe stops criminals from entering your home in the first place with its exclusive Active Guard outdoor protection. Live agents keep watch outside your property at all times. Plus, there are no long-term contracts, no cancellation fees, and professional monitoring plans start at around $1 a day. Right now, Simply Safe is offering my listeners 60% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan. This is their best offer of the year. So head to simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Your favorite dessert may have more health benefits than you think. I'll tell you more after this.
Bioptimizer's Black Friday blowout sale is now. For 20 years, Bioptimizers has provided top supplements like Magnesium Breakthrough, the only product with all 7 types of magnesium to support sleep, stress management, hormone balance, and mood. Make your health a priority this holiday season and visit bioptimizers.com/radio and use code RADIO to get a minimum of 10% off and up to $100 in free gifts with purchase. Go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use code RADIO today.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
For so many, a scoop or two of delicious ice cream is a favorite dessert. But I bet you didn't realize that it actually has some important macronutrients that our bodies need, like protein and fat, as well as the benefits of calcium. Now, obviously, we don't want to overdo it with the toppings. The extra toppings tend not to have much nutritional value and typically contain a lot of sugar. But here's my take as a doctor and a nutritionist. There's a lot of good in a small serving of ice cream, and it's easy to swallow, which can be key for people who have difficulty chewing. There are plenty of options for people who want or need non-dairy alternatives, though the amount of calcium and protein can differ. And watch those serving sizes. With Your Body, I'm ABC's Dr. Jennifer Ashton.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis.
800-932-5112. 800-932-5112. 800-932-5112. That's 800-932-5112.
Online at myclallamcounty.com. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles, Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President-elect Donald Trump says he selected former Congressman Lee Zeldin of New York to serve as administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency. He says Zeldin will ensure, quote, fair and swift regulatory decisions while also maintaining the highest environmental standards. Other administration selections have focused on hardline immigration plans, says ABC's Selena Wang.
We're learning from sources that he plans to name Stephen Miller as his White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Now, Miller is a longtime aide of Donald Trump, and he was the key architect for Trump's hardline immigration policies in his first administration. This comes as Donald Trump has named former ICE Director Tom Homan as his border czar. He played a key role in his first administration in terms of that highly controversial child separation policy. Donald Trump says that Homan is going to play a critical role in carrying out his deportation of illegal immigrants.
This week, the president-elect travels to Washington. He'll meet with President Biden in the Oval Office. Today, the president spoke during a Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery. He said the nation's most sacred obligation:
prepare those we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return home and when they don't.
State Department says it's aware of a temporary pause in operations at the international airport in Haiti after a Spirit Air flight from Florida was shot at, hit by gunfire as it tried to land. A flight attendant suffered minor injuries. An Indiana jury convicted Richard Allen of all charges in the 2017 hiking trail murders of 2 teenagers. ABC's Alex Perez is outside court.
He's facing possibly 130 years behind bars. His sentencing will be in December here at the Carroll County Courthouse.
A record close on Wall Street, the Dow closing above 44,000 for the first time ever. You're listening to ABC News.
Between all the holiday parties
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief. Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in stores at CVS or Meijer or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Honda and Acura vehicle engines are under investigation.
Honda Pilot and Acura MDX, the Honda Odyssey and Acura TLS, also Honda's Ridgeline, all various years between 2016 and 2020. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration looking into complaints that the engines can fail. The rods that link the pistons to the crankshaft are the problem.
173 owners have reported issues. There's been one crash so far, but no recall noticed yet. That was ABC's Sherry Preston. The ground war continuing in southern Lebanon with significant strikes across the country. 27 villages destroyed following widespread evacuation orders. ABC's Britt Clenitz in Tel Aviv.
A new warning by the IDF to the residents of 20 more villages in the south. And in Gaza, well, new warnings from the authorities there about damage to infrastructure and the water supplies, especially in the north. Authorities saying the risk of disease spreading has really increased.
25-year-old man's been charged with possession of a machine gun after the deadly homecoming weekend shooting at Tuskegee University in Alabama. One person died, 16 were hurt. ABC's Faith Abube is on campus.
Questions remain about whether there were multiple shooters. Investigators are still asking the public to send in tips using an FBI hotline. In the meantime, the university has released a statement urging students to seek out help with grief counselors who will be here all day at the chapel here on campus.
I'm Brian Clark.
Sail away to Victoria, BC on the MV Coho to see the magic of Christmas at the Butchart Gardens. Stroll through the 12 days of Christmas displays with nearly 1 million twinkling lights from December 1st to the 31st. Packages include ferry fare, a hotel stay in downtown Victoria, and the Butchart Gardens admission with shuttle transportation. Overnight packages from only $174 per person based on double occupancy. Visit cohoferry.com to start planning your holiday getaway.
Everyone deserves the opportunity to thrive. That's why United Way mobilizes the caring power of neighbors, businesses, and community partners to lead transformational change here in Clallam County. From strengthening local resilience to advancing health, youth opportunity, and financial security, we're working towards a future where everyone can reach their full potential. Join us in leading the way to a better future for all by donating at tinyurl.com/UnitedWayClallam.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Businesses in Port Angeles will have to get a city license starting next year. City Council voting last week to require the licenses starting early next year. Nonprofits and businesses making under $25,000 a year would get the license for free, but most other businesses will pay a $190 annual fee. The council voted 5-1 to pass the new rule that estimates that it will bring in $200,000 a year and plans to put it toward local business support like a full-time downtown resource officer and a homeless navigator. City staff say it also will help them adequately collect data on the makeup of the city's businesses.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Isolated rain showers likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 57. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight. Isolated rain showers likely. Lows around 43. Overcast tomorrow. Isolated rain showers likely. Highs level off around 52. Isolated rain showers likely Wednesday and Thursday. Low 50s Wednesday, upper 40s by Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast. 47 Friday, 46 Saturday, and 47 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 55 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome once again to the program. I'm going to spend the first segment today talking about it's kind of a re-energizing of a program that Seroptimus locally had been doing called Tea with She. Seroptimus helping and empowering. Well, COVID hit, and that, like everything, changed a lot of what's going on. Well, the Seroptimus are back now with the program again, and on November 20th, they're kind of bringing back the program called Aging in Place this time, which I think is a really great topic for all of us in these, no matter what your age is, right? We all want to age where we're most comfortable, and that may be just right where we're at. We welcome a couple of folks who are involved with this talk, and Seroptimus as well. Shelley Polbitsky is my one of my guests, and Christy Holy is here as well. Shelley, we're going to start with you. Let's talk a bit about the whole overall program and kind of I guess it's a we're back sort of thing with some of these outreach, and these are really open for the entire community.
They are, and men and women, although some of the past programs have been geared more towards women. We get men there too, and that's great. So we started this, I think it was back in 2017 was when we had our first one, and we do them twice a year, just have different topics that we feel are going to be relevant for the more mature women in our community and not so much the young gals. And so this one's called Aging in Place, and Dr. Lorraine Lovejoy Evans is going to be a speaker, and she is a physical therapist and author of No Nursing Home for Me. And she has strategies to manage pain, improve your functional mobility, etc., and so that you can stay in your home and not have to go to a facility. And then we have Dr. Monica Dixon. She's a nutritionist speaking on eating healthy to stay healthy. There's been a lot about that topic in the news lately, it seems. Yep. So that will be very important, I think, for people. And then we have Sergeant Dave Campbell and Officer Randy Kellis about when to hang up the keys.
Yeah, when should you get off the road, right?
Right, at least behind the wheel off the road. And that's a tough one.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to give up their keys, and it's got to be a tough one I've heard of families that have had to have an intercession event to convince the person that they need to quit driving, that they're a danger to others and to themselves.
So this is going to give us a few tips, though, on how we approach that subject, I'm assuming, right?
I think so, yeah. And then Mark, I don't know, I'm going to try.
Karjalainen. Mark Karjalainen, good old friend of mine. So yes,
oh, really?
That's how I know how to pronounce the name.
I should have tried to learn that before I got here. He's with Clallam County Fire District 3, and it's going to talk about mobile integrated healthcare / community paramedicine. And I can't really expand on that.
Yeah, it's a new program for Fire District 3 and getting out to help folks who need maybe help with, maybe they have medications, they have issues with that. That's not an emergent care issue, doesn't need a full 911 call, but he can engage with people and make sure that their wounds are healing correctly and that sort of thing. That's a bit of the program. I guess coincidentally, we're going to be talking with Mark's boss in the next segment from Fire District 3 about just that. So you can get a little preview of this as well. Mark's a great speaker as well on his own. So this, let's go over to Christy. This is going to be on the 20th. Where's the location?
It'll be at the Trinity United Methodist Church, and that's on 100 North Blake in Sequim. It'll be from 1 to 3:30 p.m. And it's open to the public, open to anyone that wants to come. We'll have coffee and tea, light refreshments, and we'll also have a drawing for gift certificates from local vendors that help seniors.
Now, certainly we're all, I think, familiar with Seroptimus, and it's all about empowering women and such. I guess I'll have to ask the question, both or either of you can answer this maybe. Why decide to do these types of a talk? I mean, how does that fit in with kind of your service organization's goals?
Well, I think Seroptimus is geared toward our mission is to help women and girls. And if Shelley wants to expand on that maybe a little bit. But This particular program is called Seroptimus Helping and Empowering Program. And so I think we have an obligation to the community to bring these resources to people. And so I think aging in place is something, we have such an aging population in this area that is really relevant and will really speak to people.
Yeah, Shelley, I mean, yeah, we certainly, the demographic fits into this, maybe even more so than other places.
Oh, definitely. I don't know what our average age is in Sequim, but it has to be up there. And we started, like I said earlier, we started this program several years ago and had to take a break because of COVID.
Right.
But we think that we can provide good information to the more mature women in our community on various topics. We've had a lot of different topics. And we always get a good turnout, and people enjoy it, have good questions, and we've had some very good presentations.
And this is really a well-rounded, if you will. I mean, when you ticked off the list of things, you're covering a lot of things that have to do with aging in place. You know, sometimes you go to these and it's just about, you could do a whole segment on one of these items, right?
Right, and I think that that's important to encompass several things, not just focus on one, because some people may want to focus on this, but others need this. And so I think that it's a well-rounded program that will be well received by the community.
And Chrissy, as you mentioned, the price is pretty good, isn't it?
The price is excellent. It's free to the public. And like I said, you can get some cookies and coffee and tea, and some great speakers. So
Right.
It'll be well worth your time.
I think it's a great outreach. I mean, this is one of those, I find it unique for Seroptimus to put that, this together, a community outreach program, because so many times it's a project that you have to get, you're doing, which is great, but this is really a different approach to a project for the community.
Yeah, I think that's one of the arms of Seroptimus that, that we do outreach to the community, and something, especially for our older population, that this Tea with She is really reaches out to those who may not have another source of, not entertainment, but just resources and getting together with other women of their age to just collaborate and have a good time.
Now, again, we should point out that the he's are invited to this as well,
yes.
because
Yes,
there's a
for
lot, I think,
everybody.
of he's in this particular category, of what you're talking about, that you certainly can get some information from.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
because everybody needs to learn to eat healthy, excuse me, to stay healthy, and then talking about hanging up the keys. That's important for everybody.
And knowing what's going on in the community, you just never really know when the time comes that you might have, a loved one that's, has a health crisis, for example. And how do you deal with it? What's the best way to approach it? Or how do you prevent having a health crisis, as we pointed out?
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. And we have some good facilities in Sequim, but we don't want people to have to go there.
Right.
So
I'm telling you, if you can stay in your house as long as you can, you're going to be way better off. And
Yeah.
the experts will tell you the same thing as well. But you got to be able to do it be healthy while you're aging as well in your own place. So anything we missed? Cookies, free admission, November 20th. I think we hit the highlights of what you're going to talk about. But
I don't remember all the gift certificates we are going to have a drawing for, but I do know that one of them is for someone to come in and just one time, but come in and wash their windows inside and out.
That's not
That's
bad.
a Blues Crew.
Yeah,
So,
okay. So yeah, a number of things in a raffle that'll be given away then
All
too.
right.
So
Do you
another
remember the
reason to
other
be
ones,
there.
Christy?
Well, I was going to mention the Olympic office area on aging will also have a table there as well.
Okay.
They'll be giving some.
And they have a lot of resources
They
that
have a lot of
folks
resources.
may not even realize are available through
Yeah.
them. So this is a good chance. So this is a great opportunity for folks to pop in. Again, starts at 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
1 to 3 on the 20th. Again, at First United Methodist Church?
Trinity
United. I'm sorry, Trinity down in Squim. I got my Methodists mixed up. It's in Squim.
Near Carrie Blake Park.
You got it. All right. There's plenty of parking there as well. And good luck. It's good to see this come back again because I think it was a tremendous service way back for those years until COVID hit. And congrats on getting back and going. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty good talk.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That's Christy Holy there and Shelley Polbitsky there with Seroptimus down in Squim. And again, on November 20th, mark it on your calendar. If you can get there from 1 until about 3 o'clock or so, go take in their Tea with She, the re-emerging of Tea with She, but the he's are invited too, for a bit about aging in place down in Squim. Thanks, both of you, for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, PA Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Olympic Peninsula, who serve children and teens in Port Angeles and Squim year-round. The clubs focus on providing academic support, career exploration, healthy lifestyle programs, and caring adult mentoring in a safe environment. Healthy meals and snacks are also served daily. Children attend the clubs for an affordable $30 annual membership fee, and scholarships are available upon request. The clubs serve more than 375 kids per day, so when school's out, they're in. It's said that service is the rent we pay for our space on Earth. That's why we present this Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, PA Realty.
Building a future, sharing a dream, working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Caviar Jewelry is freshly restocked with darling sterling silver fashions. If you haven't stopped by in a while, now is a great time to check out the whole new collection. We have also, for the first time in Caviar history, marked our clearance jewelry to 50% off indefinitely. Every week we pull one-year-old inventory and add it to the half-off case. You won't find deals like this anywhere else. Annie and Sharon can't wait to see you again. Caviar Jewelry, 2416 East Highway 101.
All right, welcome back to the program. I'm going to spend a couple of segments now talking about Clallam Fire District 3. It's the Squim Fire Department. That's what we jokingly were just saying during the break, but it's much more than that. We're going to learn all about it, and it's been a long time since we've had folks from Fire District 3 in on the program to chat about what they do, and why not have the new chief for Fire District 3, Justin Greider, joining us. Justin, it's good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me today.
Worked with you and have talked with you a long time here in the Port Angeles area, and you got to move on up the ladder and down the road a little ways as well. So congrats on the promotion.
Thank you.
And it's I think they they've picked a good guy to do what
well,
they're
thank
doing
you.
there. I know you got big shoes to fill because they've had folks that have been the chief for in those capacities for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
In Fire District 3. In fact, I think commissioners probably were wondering, oh, well, these people don't retire.
No, they just get returned.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Fire District 3. Pretty large district. It actually encompasses 2 counties in some parts, too.
It does. We kind of spill over into Jefferson County on the east side there and take up the community of Gardner. That was a decision made years ago by one of the greats of the shoulders I stand on today, right? They looked at what services they could provide, and it was best served by going almost, not all the way to Disco Bay, but close, right? So, we do have automatic mutual aid with East Jefferson County for that area. We work with the fire district over there. And then, speaking of auto and mutual aid, automatic and mutual aid, we do that with Clallam 2 Fire Rescue and City of Port Angeles as well. So.
Yeah, because if there's a major incident going on, don't be surprised if you see a Fire District 3
Absolutely.
truck show up at times.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah.
And we do that quite regularly.
And I know, I talked with Jake Patterson, who you worked under before as the assistant chief there at Fire District 2 for many years. About just that, you can't really pull it off here without some cooperation amongst you. We're out here on a bit of an island, if you will.
We truly are, and it's one of the things I do enjoy about this area. One of the things is the people, but it's the people in the leadership positions in the different fire districts and fire departments around here. We work really well together. We speak the same language. We want the same thing, and that's having the right resources available to Mr. and Mrs. Smith out there.
Yeah, and right down to training. I mean, you guys do some cross training. You've got a facility down in your district that
yes, sir.
I know the other agencies use for training as they need as well.
Yeah, anytime we can do some inter-cooperative training, we do. We're all over it. And I know with the volunteers, we bring them together at least a few times a year, but we do the joint training academies, and we push people through.
So let's get back and talk a bit about just you. And I jokingly said your Squim's Fire Department, but the reality is you have a very interesting, I think, mix of response needs.
We do.
You've got big box stores in your district. I mean, you're not just what would be, I guess, your old generic rural fire district where it's mostly single-family homes or things in your, in your coverage area. You've got a lot of things you have to deal with.
Yeah, our folks are tasked routinely. I mean, like you said, the big box stores is one, the casinos, the hotels, the apartment complexes, and then the residential, and we're the city of Sequim, while we're fully hydrated, have hydrants on every corner there. Once we sprawl out into the district, go a little bit to the south, it's not so much so. So we're bringing in our own water supplies and working with our other districts. So our folks are very well versed in different types of the topography that we have to work with.
Still mostly a volunteer agency.
We're about 50-50 right now.
50-50 now?
Yep.
Okay.
So I've got I've got 60 full-time employees, and that includes a couple of part-time, and then I've got about 50 volunteers that are active.
And you were kind of the first of the districts, I think, in Clallam County, not you being, but Fire District 3 being, that really had made the move towards becoming more professionally staffed as far as the rural districts go.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, and a lot of it's drives. I mean, we serve roughly 34,000 people.
Right.
We cover 142 square miles, and we are breaking records right now on our call volume. We were going to push over 9,000 calls this year, which has never happened.
Wow, 9,000 calls this year.
Yep.
Oh, my
and we're
goodness.
doing that with routinely with anywhere from 11 to 15 people on duty a day, and that's just our career staff. So
people need to, we talked about to the east where you go. I mean, you stretch all the way to Deer Park here, basically on the west. So
correct. Yes.
It's a very, very large geographic area that you have too.
It is, and
with all of that in between.
And I think that's the biggest thing is education of our people, not our customers that we serve, is who serves them. And you can be on the left-hand side of the road and be District 2, but just a further bit on the left-hand side off of Deer Park Road, you're District 3, and so it's important for people to know where their taxes are going to and who serves them. And that's why we work so well together with the other fire districts.
I was going to say, I mean, if you get a call on that just near Deer Park Road, for example, in many ways it's going to be faster for District 2 to get there, isn't it?
It is.
But
so
you also go, but you
Yeah.
also are putting the call out that, hey, if you can get there now, we'll take it.
Absolutely. So we do have a automatic aid agreement that's, Morse Creek through Bagley Creek roughly is that's an automatic aid. We're both getting dispatched to that call. You call 911 and you're in that area, you're getting resources from both sides.
Okay. Tell us about your staffing. I mean, how you're laid out with stations and who's working out of what facilities.
Sure. We have 3 staff stations that are 24/7, 365, and those stations are we have one in Blinn. The next one I have is in the city of Sequim itself. They're at 5th. And then we have one in Carlsberg. And then we have in Carlsberg also, we have our administrative offices just down the road, renting a space down there for our admin staff. And then we have our volunteer stations that are smattered around. So we have the our corner. We have a station there. We have one out in Dungeness, and then we have another one out in Diamond Point that serves the community out there.
Now, when we talk about the volunteer stations, how do things get dispatched out of that? Give us an example. If a call comes at our corner, needs to be the station.
Sure. So we have a car accident at our corner, and the dispatch is going to be the same. They're going to activate the Station 33 crew. That's the duty crew, and 32 is going to get dispatched at the same time. If 33 is available to go immediately, they're going to be the first ones on scene, and then the volunteers are coming in because they were just dispatched, so they have to come from their homes or their place of business to come into the station, staff up a vehicle, and then enroll. So they may not be there for the initial call, but they're staffed up for that next one that's inevitably coming.
Got it. So a lot of it's backfill too. I mean, you're depending on volunteers to be there for the next call because you just told me 9,000 calls. I can guarantee you're getting calls that are stacked on top of each other quite often, right?
You nailed it, and it's all the time, right? And those, and that's where we have our duty battalion chiefs, and their job. One of their jobs is to sit there and manage that call load as it's coming in and saying, hey, what's the priority here? We have a great working relationship with Olympic Ambulance, and we use them. They give us dedicated units to work with, and we get to put them in where we need them.
Is it similar than in Fire District in the city of Port Angeles for that example too? Do you if it's an advanced life support, you're doing the call? If it's basic life support, it's Olympic. How do you differentiate kind of what ambulance might be taking somebody to the ER?
So for us, we will have Olympic Ambulance respond. If it's an ALS call, we'll put our paramedic in the back with them. If it's a BLS call, they'll just jump in, and now that rig or that unit now becomes ALS for the transport. If it's truly a BLS, they'll just take it, and vice versa. If they're busy on other calls, but we work interchangeably with one another pretty seamlessly. It's pretty nice.
So that leads me to let's talk about just your trucks and your ambulances and things. I mean, how much? What do you have for vehicles right now? What is going on the road right now?
Well, just so I'll talk about the stations independently. So Station 34 is in Sequim, and it's our larger station, manpower or firefighters and apparatus. So I've got 2 ambulances that are staffed 24/7 out of there. We have a fire engine, a water tender, and a ladder truck, and the battalion chief. And the ladder truck and the water tender and the engine are sometimes cross-staffed by people, so depending on the call. 32 and 33, 37 and 33 in the Blinn and Carlsberg, I'll have a fire engine and an ambulance, and then also have a tender available out of there. And then our volunteer stations, which we classify them as volunteers just because that's where we have our volunteer pool come from. They can volunteer out of any of the stations, but they have an engine and an ambulance as well there.
Okay. And very busy, as we just talked about. I mean, you guys are, and I know it's medical calls, isn't it?
It is.
Really are most of it. You're not out on a fire call every night.
As much as they would like to be, as much as everybody likes a good fire, but unfortunately that's not the, I say that tongue in cheek because fires are devastating, but it is EMS is really what gets us going out there, and we're about 82% of our calls are EMS. So, all
right, we're going to take a break. We'll talk a bit about funding. EMS is kind of part of that. It's a little bit of the structure debate that's happening locally with other agencies too, and how you keep those call volumes and pay for them for that matter. Justin Greider is my guest. He is the new chief at Fire District 3, and we'll also talk a little bit about the new logos and things they have rolled out too for that east part of Clallam County, the fire district that serves that, when we come back right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Todd Ortloff now with a word for Olympic Peninsula title. They don't just have customers, they have raving fans. Yeah, for over 40 years, they've been earning the repeat business of their customers by treating them with respect, delivering what they promise, prioritizing the security of customers' funds and information, and always providing service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title and see for yourself why they've earned over 500 five-star reviews, and they've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
Hi, this is Tristan with Tri-State Roofing. We are celebrating the grand pre-opening in Sequim. We specialize in roofs, siding, gutters, patio covers, and doors. The best part, we got you covered with incredible financing. 0 down payment, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 18 months on approved credit. Experience the Tri-State way. We've got you covered 24/7. Call 253-ROOFING or tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
The Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. The Seattle City Council member set to introduce a proposal to create a capital gains tax at the city level. Councilmember Kathy Moore announced plans to introduce the legislation late last week. It would enact a 2% tax on capital gains over $262,000 a year in Seattle. The tax would not apply to retirement funds or real estate. A burglary suspect that broke into a medical lake business told deputies he did it because it was cold. An alarm company had notified deputies after they saw a suspect in the building. Deputies found a broken window and a 59-year-old man on a couch with a blanket. He surrendered and told authorities he got cold walking towards Seattle and broke in to get warm. He's charged with burglary and criminal mischief. And the last remaining uncalled congressional race in Washington state is now called. U.S. Representative Dan Newhouse has won his re-election bid against Republican challenger Jared Sessler. The race was called on Friday. The latest numbers showed Newhouse in first place with 51% of the vote. Donald Trump endorsed Sessler in April as part of his wide-ranging bid to unseat congressional Republicans who voted in favor of his impeachment in 2020. And today is Veterans Day. Federal and state offices will be closed today for the holiday, and we'd like to say thank you to all those who have served our country. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I taught for 20 years, until I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit. Getting his early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard, but it gave us time to take control of the situation, together.
I can't imagine going through this without him.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Isolated rain showers likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 57. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies expected tonight. Isolated rain showers likely. Lows around 43. Overcast tomorrow. Isolated rain showers likely. Highs level off around 52. Isolated rain showers likely Wednesday and Thursday. Low 50s Wednesday, upper 40s by Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 47 Friday, 46 Saturday, and 47 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 55 degrees.
Back with more with Justin Greider. He is the fire chief for Clallam Fire District 3. That covers the east end of Clallam County. Well, almost all of the central and east end for that matter, as we just talked about. But Justin, we went to the break talking about call volumes and apparatus and all of that. But, you know, a lot of folks may not understand how you're fully funded. Let's talk about that, because how do you pay for these folks?
Well, a good 93% of our funding really comes through voter-supported levies and taxes. And we about every 5 years, we have to go back to the voters, and that was the way that the law is designed. Is to, we're good stewards of the public's money. We don't just spend because we want to pay our folks appropriately. We want to keep them here. We want to keep them local. We want to keep them in the right apparatus with the right equipment. And unfortunately, the cost of doing business just keeps going up and up and up. Inflation's felt everywhere. And so, 5 years ago, you could buy a fire engine for $500,000. Now, just 5 years later, we're over $1 million, for a piece of fire apparatus. And so we look at ways we can save money in those areas by, instead of buying a new ambulance, we'll refurbish our ambulance. We'll take the box off, we'll put a new chassis underneath it, and then put that same box down the road. And it saves about 33% per unit doing it that way. But while we do apply for grants and we go out and look for other funding sources, but it's truly by tax-generated levies.
You cover the city of Sequim, but you're not a city of Sequim government-funded agency, right?
Which is a misnomer, right? Yeah, because I even default to it too. Like, Sequim Fire, and that went away back in the 1980s. Sequim Fire said, well, the fire district can provide protection for the city, and so they did that, and and we have Clallam County Fire District 3 in our name. We are not funded by the county. The county doesn't give us a red cent, and that's where we reside, and a little bit about East Jefferson County, but we are not a Clallam County agency either, and so I think that gets gets confusing for people as well. So, why is the county doing X, Y, Z? Why aren't they pitching more into the fire districts? And they don't have an obligation to.
Right. How much did the debate over timber harvest and things like that have an effect on a fire district like yours too?
So for District 3, we it's actually a small piece of it. Just in District 3, there's not a lot of property sales and timber sales. But when you look at a fire district, we'll just go out west. When you're looking at Fire District 4 and 5 and 6, those districts are very dependent on timber sales.
Yeah, timber sales are the difference between having a fire station or not in many cases, right?
Correct.
Or even a fire truck.
And then the population density out there is not there to sustain a levy that's going to get you the funding, so you rely heavily on the timber sales to provide that protection.
How difficult is it for you to get staff nowadays? And I mean, COVID changed everything. I know every fire department's having these issues, but tell us a bit about the challenges.
So we are blessed in the fact that we have very highly competent and very engaged people that live here on the peninsula and want to give back, and so they want to. Somebody knows a firefighter, right? You mentioned Cargelainen earlier in your earlier interview. Everybody knows somebody. It's usually word of mouth, but the carrot, if you will, is the world has gotten smaller. Our shifts have been modified. So we just recently went to a 48-96 schedule. So you work 2 days on, 4 days off. Well, with that schedule, now somebody can live in Tacoma and commute. I'm just doing that 5 days a month. And so you start losing that sense of community. And then you have other organizations like in Southern Washington, they've gone to what they call a four platoon system, where now they have 6 days off. They added a different day. So the shift schedules now have changed the dynamics of how to recruit people, really.
Right, yeah.
While it may take me 3 hours to go catch a plane over there, it's still not that far. And salary-wise, we're competing with the I-5 corridor, whether we like it or not. And so we've got to pay to keep and retain our people.
And that fits into the budget piece as well, doesn't it? Yeah,
absolutely, it does. And then, keeping adequate staffing on, keeping adequate firefighters and staffing on the line to answer those 9,000 calls.
Yeah,
comes with the cost of overtime as well. And so it just all adds up. And so we, like I said earlier, we are very good stewards of the public's money, but we start looking at things differently. It's like, okay, do we replace a station? Do we rebuild a station? Do we own property? Can we sell property? Can we modify it? Can we, it just goes everywhere. All the questions get asked.
One thing that you have added, a couple of things. One, let's talk about the new logo.
Sure.
And kind of the new imaging that has happened with Fire District 3. Tell us kind of what went into that. And it actually was an internal thing from what I understand.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, when I got hired on, they had already started a process of looking at, changing the logo up a little bit and just trying to modify it. And I let them run with it. And that was, it was an easy win for me because it was already in the motion. It was born from the ideas of the firefighters, and so it was just all I had to do was encourage it. And then they came back out, and so what they've come up with is like the design on my hat here is just, it's a fire district with the number 3, just FD with a 3. It's kind of a scramble. And a lot of that is just in talking and communicating. As I mentioned earlier, we talk about, well, we're not funded by Clallam County. We're not City of Sequim. So we're Fire District 3. And that's really who we are.
And really making a concerted effort of just saying Fire District 3 as much as you can.
Yep, and I don't want to go out and confuse people to say we're a different agency or anything else. And these are easy changes. They were no cost outside of just the idea was already born. They already had a design created internally. They already had it scoped up and mocked up, and so it was a click.
It's a nice design, by
the way.
It is.
I
right?
like
it. It's kind of the old logo was around for a long time. I think it's probably time for a refresh.
Anyway, and that was when we got a new ambulance in, it was like, okay, instead of putting the old logo on, just here's a digital copy of this one. They print it out, and there's same cost.
Yeah.
Letterheads and business cards. That's a reprint, and it's been easy. So as we'll transition through, you'll start seeing shirts and hats as they come through. As folks, they wear out the old one, and they'll transition into the new logo, and it'll be a slow phase.
One person, and I saw him today, was wearing the new logo, new hat as well, was Mark Karjalainen.
Yes. He
is new onto your staff. A lot of folks know him from around here. He worked for years and years at PA Fire and at Fire District 2, and now he's down at 3. And he is actually your new community paramedic.
He is.
Which is a new program. We're familiar with it here, but this is new to the Sequim area in your fire district.
Yeah, so that was another one of those an easy win for me. I came on, they were going through, so we had some union negotiations to work on with the contract and get that done. It was one of the first things that we got to work with. I was thankful that he was the one that applied and put it in. Mark has been just a breath of fresh air for the program. He's the right guy at the right time for the right reasons, and he has really, truly wrapped his arms around it. And
so tell folks what he does. What's kind of different about that? Because you can probably explain it better than I can.
Oh, man, I don't know. Man, he'd be the guy to bring in here. So
well, he's already talked to me about that, believe me, when I saw him today. But go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I support it. So when we introduced him, it's really a mobile integrated health program. We have a lot of repeat callers. We have a lot of people that go, they're seeing the doctor, and then they're like, okay, there's follow-up care, but they can't make it back in. We see extended wall times at the hospital. We see backups to the ambulances. And so he can go into the house and address wound care. He can address their breathing problems. He can work telehealth. He can work a lot of things for them, making sure that they're tuned up and taking the right medications and take that 911 burden.
Yeah, and it takes the call volume down, really.
Oh, tremendously. And, it's only been a couple months, but we are closely monitoring it.
And in the Sequim area, and I know this is district-wide, but really, I mean, Sequim is a much different demographic, I think, than what you're dealing with in Port Angeles, per se. You got a lot of older folks that are there, too, so I think his plug-in as a community paramedic might be different than what the plug-in is here for the PA guys.
Absolutely. And we do see, that 15 miles is a different demographic for sure. We have, as you mentioned, an older population, but it's also it's truly a retirement destination. And so the medical services aren't in Sequim as they are in PA. PA seeing a lot more. While we have behavioral health issues that are kind of span the whole thing, but the nice thing is that we got a continuity of care now in the field, working with our PBH and the hospital and the Olympic Ambulance, and working with all those different agencies. And we got the Hospital Guild in Sequim, who's a wonderful foundation. The Seroptimists, you had them in here earlier. I mean, it's just amazing how all the different community groups come together, and he's just another link in that chain of support for the public.
Well, it will be very interesting to see how what the impact will be over a number of months. As you mentioned, it's only been a couple of months right now, but I think it's going to continue to be exponential probably. I think most folks have said the same with the other agencies that have done this. So.
Right. No, I know PA is seeing a tremendous so much so they doubled down on the program.
That's right,
and they really embraced it, and they're reaping the benefits of it, and rightfully so, and for the right reasons.
All right, Justin Greider, it's great to have you in.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be any stranger. We're going to get you in more often to talk about what's happening down at Fire District 3. Lots of stuff happening down at the east end of the county. And again, congrats on the new job.
Thank you so very much.
Right. Justin Greider's the chief for Fire District 3. And we're going to take a break and wrap things up right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
COVID is still around and can still make you seriously sick. But good news, the most updated COVID vaccines are the best way to protect against the latest variants. Get your COVID vaccine today. To learn more, go to takecarewa.org.
Have you been searching and searching for anyone to install, repair, or replace your windows? What about looking for someone to install a new exterior door? And what about a skylight, or a new glass shower enclosure, or even a glass railing system? It can be hard, if not near impossible, to just get a call back. We at Hartnagel Building Supply sympathize with just how difficult it can be to get fast and dependable glass services. It's why we created our newest division, Hartnagel Glassworks. With over 80 years of combined experience, our team is ready and excited to help you on your next project. Whether it's big or small, residential or commercial, installation or repair, we can pretty much handle anything related to glass. Contact us today at 360-417-8388 or at hbsglassworks.com. Angelos Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
This is Newsradio KONP.
Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel offer experience you can lean on and the compassion to ease your loss. Their job is to help families cope with loss of loved ones by removing the stress involved in planning funeral arrangements. All of the staff has a real heart for serving families and their needs in the most difficult of times. They truly realize the importance in what they're doing for the community. Squim Valley Funeral Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel in Port Angeles, the caring support you'll need in your time of loss.
And finally, on this Veterans Day, we check in with Brad Mielke with his ABC Audio Start Here podcast, where he talks with Ann Flaherty. They talk about brain injuries and forceful blasts in military training and how it's affecting our vets.
Today is Veterans Day. And while Memorial Day is all about the service members we've lost over the years, Veterans Day recognizes the men and women who are here with us, among us, some of whom need help, all of whom deserve care and respect. And yet we are still learning how the hazards of military service can affect veterans after they leave. And I'm not even necessarily talking about the perils of taking incoming fire in a combat zone. In some cases, these are routine parts of military life that can affect you for the rest of your life. Well, recently, ABC has been digging into what appear to be mysterious brain injuries that could actually be caused, conceivably, by service members' own weapons. Let's bring in ABC's Ann Flaherty, who covers the Pentagon. First off, Ann, can you just explain what kind of injuries we're talking about here?
Brad, we've been hearing about traumatic brain injury now for years in the military. And this is a little bit different. It's one of the biggest medical mysteries facing the U.S. military, and the implications are huge. The theory so far is that troops are firing these big, heavy weapons, like mortars, like anti-tank weapons. And after so many years, troops are raising their hands and saying, something's not right. Memory loss is a big one. Major personality changes, impulse control, migraines, neurological problems like balance. And when they go to doctors, many of the doctors just try to treat those symptoms. But the military suspects what is behind this is something that is bigger.
I truly believe
that the human brain is the most important weapon system.
So we spoke with Major Allison Brager. She's this research psychologist, a neuroscientist for the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center at Fort Liberty.
You know, if you think about blast, it's these high energy physical waves that essentially they're hitting the service member, coming in through all different cavities, right? Coming in through the nose, the mouth, the ears, even the membrane that separates the eyeball.
She says that they do believe that blast waves from troops' own weapons could be damaging their brain.
So how does it impact the brain? What happens? If you think about the brain as like a highway, so you have the speed of the connection traveling through, it's called white matter, and then you have the actual nodes where all the communication is happening within the brain, the gray matter. We know from these advanced neuroimaging studies that blast overpressure and repeated low-level blast is actually impacting both.
She says it's complex. They don't know this for sure. Right now it's still just an association, and they're trying to get more data on this.
Wait, yeah, and just so I'm clear, and like you said, like the waves that can affect the brain, are we talking about, it's not just sound waves then, right? Like I think like these things are so loud, but you're saying it's more than that.
You know, we went down to Fayetteville, North Carolina, where the Army Special Forces train every day. They use these shoot houses to train in close quarters combat.
So we are on Range 37 of Fort Liberty, where Army Special Forces are training for missions overseas.
The explosions that they set off, it's chest rattling. It's surprising. It sort of knocks you back on your feet. And they do it over and over again to try to train this in a way almost as you would a choreographed dance. They want to be able to do it perfectly.
Awesome, let's do another.
Did you know that blast overpressure was something that you should be looking out for or be aware of?
It was. You know, I have to be a doctor to understand when you stand too close to something and your head rings.
While we were down there, we met one Army Special Forces soldier. His name was Eric. We were only allowed to use his first name and his rank, a master sergeant in the Army Special Forces.
How many deployments?
I've got 14 total. So
14 deployments.
Between Iraq, Afghanistan, and then separate trips to Africa.
He has fired anti-tank weapons, mortars. He's certainly shot a lot of rifles and been exposed to door charges.
What were the symptoms? What did you first start to notice when that something was off?
Initially it was short-term memory loss, consistent headaches. So mood swings were the triggering effect.
He had a very short temper. He remembers being at home one day when 2 dogs had entered his yard and his kids came in screaming.
I closed the door and just see the 2 dogs standing there and did not even hesitate. Picked up a firearm, went outside. Of course, the dogs started moving. And I'm yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs.
So you almost shot a dog in front of your kids.
Yeah.
He got very emotional telling me that story because he says, you know, my kids had never seen me like that.
So, and for the first, for the next year or so afterwards, they, couldn't be in a room with a dog. It's kind of a wake-up call.
He had just felt like he wasn't in control of his emotions, and that was the point where he knew that he needed to get help.
Well, and there are plenty of psychological disorders that can lead to these types of symptoms too, right? Like PTSD can present super similarly. So how clear is it that these weapons or these blasts are the things creating these symptoms?
So it's not. What we're being told is that it's just an association at this point. And the scientists who are working with special forces tell us that they're looking at other causes too. The lack of sleep. A lot of these special forces guys operate at night. So they haven't ruled out everything else.
This community of special operations forces is also exposed to low levels of oxygen when they are jumping out of planes or when they are diving underwater.
I spoke with Dr. Brian Edlow. He is a Harvard neurology professor. He led the study released last April.
This injury, repeated blast brain injury, is not detectable by our current technologies. And so the heartbreaking story that we have heard and that motivates our work is somebody who seeks care, undergoes a brain MRI, is told it looks normal, there's nothing going on here, get back out there.
He says that the only way that you can really tell whether or not somebody has been impacted by this is to do an autopsy after they've passed.
And in some cases, individuals have died by suicide, have donated their brains to science, and pathologists have found extensive scarring within their brain that is believed to be caused by blast.
But Dr. Edlow tells me there's no way to test for it. There's no way to know for sure if somebody has it. That can make it very difficult to get treatment.
Fire!
I spoke with Justin Andes. This is a former Army sergeant who spent 3 years firing mortars. He never deployed. He was only in training.
I didn't plan on being stuck dilly-dallying around my house the rest of my life.
When I spoke to the family, what they told me was that Justin's personality had changed. Something his wife talks about is this kind of, stare, this blank stare that he would get, really persistent memory loss.
It's almost like trying to get to know him again.
He describes this moment where he would be playing Legos with his young son, Jensen.
And while I was looking for the Lego, I would forget what Lego I was looking for, even though that was the only thing I was concentrating on. I was actively concentrating, and then I just all of a sudden I'd be like, huh.
Right now, he is waiting for some kind of diagnosis of a TBI in the hopes that he can get enrolled in a VA program and go to Pittsburgh for a brain health clinic.
I know I'm probably going to get dementia at a very young age, and it sucks because there's nothing I can do to be sure my family's set for success.
There is no doubt that there are other people like Justin and his family who are not sure what is happening, and they're struggling to get answers because, of course, if you have a brain injury, it can be very difficult to navigate the VA program.
Right, it's tough to get a lot of things done and to advocate for yourself when you have a brain injury. The VA says now that they require mandatory screenings for brain injuries from anyone who's been in combat. But in the meantime, Anne, as doctors continue to try to, make these associations and get help to people, what do you do if you're in the military in terms of training programs or weaponry or equipment? How do you prevent these types of injuries from happening?
When we went down to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and we talked to the officials there about how they're training Army Special Forces guys, the one thing that they say is that they are aware of this problem, and they're just going to act as though they know that blast waves are causing injury because they simply cannot wait the 10 years or so it might take to figure this out. So the shoot houses no longer have concrete walls, for example. They now have rubber walls. They have raised roofs, and the idea is that it tries to release the pressure from the weapons so that the people who are inside aren't trapped with these pressure waves. The other thing that they're doing is these soldiers are wearing balaclavas. They're trying to cover their mouth, their nose, their ears while they're shooting any weapons, because the latest research shows that it goes in through these cavities of their skull, and that's how it reaches the brain in the first place. So they say they are testing these new technologies. They're racing to try to find answers. They are going at warp speed to try to get to the bottom of this. But in the meantime, you have these gaps in research. And when I speak with people who've been hurt, they say there just needs to be a blank check written to figure this out, because you can't have an unknown number of troops exposed to blast waves and potentially injured.
Even the idea that you could dampen the force of these waves from these powerful weapons with something as simple as an extra piece of cloth over the cavities in your head, that tells you how much we're starting from ground zero in so much of our understanding here. There will be more of Anne's reporting on ABC News Live Prime later tonight. Thank you, Anne.
Thanks, Brad.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Developing new property? Trust Meyer Electric to get it ready with temporary power, a meter box with outlets, and power to your septic and well. Do you know all the codes that need to be in place for your build or even remodel? The crew at Meyer Electric does, and works seamlessly with electrical inspectors and local utility companies to make sure that you aren't left in the dark. Let Meyer Electric power your plans and make your property work for you. Call Meyer Electric at 582-7999 or visit squimelectrician.com today.
News, sports, and information for the North Olympic Peninsula. We're News Radio KONP, Port Angeles, Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, Anchor Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Donald Trump has named former Republican New York Congressman Lee Zeldin to head the Environmental Protection Agency. Appearing on Fox News, Zeldin promised to roll back regulations he says force businesses to struggle. ABC Chief White House correspondent Selena Wang reports these first appointments support Trump's main campaign themes.
Some of Donald Trump's earliest picks for his next administration in key roles are hardline people on immigration. These are staunch Trump loyalists, and we're learning from sources that he plans to name Stephen Miller Miller as his White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Now, Miller is a longtime aide of Donald Trump, and he was the key architect for Trump's hardline immigration policies in his first administration.
President Biden will host President-elect Trump in the Oval Office Wednesday to discuss domestic and foreign policy issues. An Indiana jury found 52-year-old Richard Allen guilty of murder in the 2017 deaths of 8th graders Libby German and Abby Williams. ABC's Alex Perez reports from the Carroll County Courthouse.
He's facing possibly 130 years behind bars. His sentencing will be in December here at the Carroll County Courthouse. He remains in custody. He was taken away from the courtroom in handcuffs.
The wildfire straddling the New York-New Jersey state line has grown to about 5,000 acres and is 20% contained. Incident Commander Brian Gallagher says overnight rain won't help much.
You get a little bit of rain, it puts that surface fire out, but if it's in the duct, it's going to stay there. It's going to smolder like a cigar until it gets dry enough, and then that fire can pop up again. And that's probably what we're going to see.
Wall Street climbed into record territory today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closing above 44,000 for the first time. Bank stocks led the market, and Bitcoin's price topped $86,000 for the first time. Bond markets were closed for Veterans Day. You're listening to ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired, with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said. So she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer grocery.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now, more news.
A Spirit Airlines flight from Florida was hit by gunfire as it tried to land in Haiti.
Spirit saying its plane was diverted and landed safely in Santiago, Dominican Republic, and that while a flight attendant sustained minor injuries, no passengers were injured. Damage consistent with gunfire found